Now, I heard a lot of you guys asking me, where's the video yesterday, JB? Look, man, I got drunk. I got drunk and I was streaming Welfare Queen Wednesday on the other channel. You know how that shit goes. So it is what it is. This isn't the only channel I run. So you're going to have to just fucking deal with it. It is what it is. But we are here today and I'm going to be giving you 2 videos today to make up for missing a video over here yesterday. Guys, what we're going to be talking about today is the Pennsylvania search warrant at Bryan Kohberger's family's house, because once again it's been released and once again they have nothing on Bryan Kohberger, and I know a lot of you guys can't get that through your fucking head, but we're going to talk about it a little bit here today. Your next video I'm going to be giving you later on is me gloating over the fact I was right about Ann Taylor and not being a conflict of interest. That will be your next video, released a little bit later in the day. I'm thejbgunner. This is Crime Time. Let's get things going. Let's do it.
Bring it back.
Good morning, everybody. As you guys know, I'm thejbgunner, and this is Crime Time. Now, before we get started with this, I want to say first and foremost, thank you to everybody that supports this channel, regardless of the method you choose, whether it's Patreon. By the way, thank you guys that are my Patreons, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, whatever it may be. I couldn't do this each and every day as often as I do if it wasn't for you. So thank you guys. Shout out to the Gun Squad. And if you too find value in my work, feel free to hit the links down below. Support the channel today because you guys are what keeps this thing going. You know that. I know that. YouTube ain't gonna monetize me. Say too much crazy shit. But while you're down there, do yourself a favor. If you're not a snowflake, check out some of my other channels, my news, my politics, my live stream channel, because that is where a lot of the other content is. I drop gaming channel, whatever. But let's be real. A lot of you guys in the true crime community, you guys are kind of snowflakey. You guys need trigger warnings and gay shit like that. So them other channels probably ain't for you. I'm just letting you know that right here, right now. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about subscribing. Don't worry about doing none of that. But let's go ahead and move on to this story. Guys, we had the search warrant for Pennsylvania released in the Bryan Kohberger case. Now, they showed us what they took from Bryan Kohberger's home. If you take a look here, there really wasn't shit. And everybody keeps making a big deal because they found a flashlight at Bryan Kohberger's parents' house. Well, I got a flashlight too. I got several of them. And it wasn't at Bryan Kohberger's house. It was at his parents' house. You don't expect them to have a flashlight? Well, we'll continue. So what they also took was some clothes. 4 medical style gloves. Interesting. White Arizona Jean Company large t-shirt. They took a white t-shirt. Champion USA, or whatever the fuck it says. Champion, I think it's the Washington College large black sweatshirt. It's not like this motherfucker went and committed the murders with the University of Washington on his shirt. Use some goddamn sense. So, you think he wore the name of his school when he went to go commit the murders, if you believe he committed the murders? A pair of black and white size 13 Nike shoe. Now, this also solves another mystery. That means the footprint with the van's footprint was not Bryan Kohberger's. What do you know? What do you know? So far this is turning out pretty nice, wouldn't you say? A pair of black Under Armour socks. I also have black Under Armour socks. Under Armour black large shorts. I also have Under Armour black large shorts. Under Armour black, what does I say? Boxers. So he has boxers. Now, I saw somebody, I don't know if it was harsh, I don't remember who it was. I saw somebody yesterday say, why would someone have that many black clothes? Well, people like to match, right? Like if I'm wearing black, I'm going to wear a black hat, a black shirt, black socks, or maybe white socks, depends on what I'm doing. Black boxers. It seems logical, doesn't it? and remember, you guys think that Bryan Kohberger is OCD. Us OCD people, we like to match. It's just the way this shit works. I don't understand what the big problem is. And they took the swabs, the 4 swabs needed from Bryan Kohberger. Now, this is interesting when you look at this, because we're going to go ahead and take a look at the warrant itself, and you will also see that in the warrant is Bryan Kohberger's car. Notice that nothing from that list looks like something you would take out of a car. Maybe the clothes were in there, maybe. But what's the odds that months later, I want you guys to think about this. What is the odds that months later, Bryan Kohberger decided to take those bloody clothes all the way to Pennsylvania? The car got pulled over twice on the way. Just use some common sense for just a second. I know that's almost impossible for you motherfuckers in the true crime community, but use some common sense for just a second. You think that 2 months later, Bryan Kohberger is going to drive all the way across the country with his, by the way, visual snow? You think he's going to drive all the way across the country with this visual snow, not getting in a wreck, by the way, with the murder clothes? Doesn't it seem a little weird to you? Doesn't that seem a little strange to you? But hey, you know, some of you guys are strange motherfuckers. So it kind of is what it is. Bryan Kohberger's Pennsylvania warrant has been unsealed. Down here, we do have said warrant, which I'll show you guys shortly. I got the document itself. There's really nothing there. Let's just call it what it is. There's absolutely nothing there. Pennsylvania cops seized 4 medical gloves. Big fucking deal. Big fucking deal. A silver flashlight and Bryan Kohberger's Under Armour socks, boxers, and shorts when they arrested him at his parents' house. Kohberger was arrested on December 30th at his parents' house in Albrightsville. A newly released search warrant reveals which items they seized at the time. They took a silver flashlight. Let me ask you guys something. Do you guys really believe that somebody would go? Let's think this thing through. Okay. You think this man was carrying both a flashlight and a knife? You think this motherfucker was walking through the house with a flashlight and a knife? You truly believe that? Let me tell you something. I'm a hiker. If I was going to need a flashlight because I'd need my hands, because remember, this guy apparently got into it with Ethan. What's her name? Fought back. If I'm going to kill somebody, I'm going to use a headlamp, just to be perfectly honest. I'm a hiker. Trust me, headlamps are very convenient. You can still have both hands just in case you're killing 4 motherfucking people. So the idea that they took this gray flashlight and somehow that makes any kind of sense, that somehow this type of shit is going to be used as real evidence against Bryan Kohberger is borderline laughable. As I said, there wasn't there wasn't much real news in this, but let's go ahead and take a look at the search warrant. So what they were going to look for, it says the person of Bryan C. Kohberger on 11/21/1994. I guess that's his birthday. It says blood or other bodily fluids or materials and items with blood or other bodily fluids or materials on or near them. Knives, sheaths, other weapons, or instruments of injury or death, and sales receipts and documentations from purchases of acquisition of such items. So these motherfuckers, whatever. I guess we'll just say whatever. So they're just going to take any weapon that may exist in that house, whether it's Bryan Kohberger's or not. Let's get back to it. Documents, records, medications, drugs, or other substances, prescription. So if the dude's smoking weed or something, they're going to take that. For prescription or otherwise, bottles, labels, syringes, packaging, and all other items associated with medications, drugs, or substances, prescription or otherwise, that could relate to physical violence. So basically, they're saying all drugs, all medications could relate. You see what I'm saying? A physical attack, a fight, or a hostility for any of the same. Any property belonging to the dead kids, which you clearly see they didn't find any. Documents, records, data compilations related to the Moscow address. Clothing to include, but not limited to, this is why they were able to take his clothes. Dark shirts, pants, mask, shoes with a diamond-patterned sole. Now, he didn't have shoes with a diamond-patterned sole. Anybody with any common sense, you can clearly look up Nikes and see if they have any diamond pattern soles. Let's just take a quick little look at any of the Nikes that are on this list. Do you see a diamond pattern? Nope. In fact, as you look at Nikes, you consistently see the same pattern, right? You, for the most part, see the same pattern in all Nikes, almost all Nikes. But what you do not see, let's take a look, because you see with all these Nikes, you see the little circular pattern, right? You see the little circular pattern? There is no diamond pattern in any of these Nikes. You see the circular pattern, kind of in the shape of a C, and then there's still no diamond pattern. So any of these, you can look at all Nikes, and they typically have, even the Air Jordans, you can look at almost every Nike other than the cleats and see no fucking diamond pattern. Do you see what I'm saying? None. So they took this man's shoes for whatever reason, and he's a size 13 shoe, by the way. So clearly, they can match it up and see that footprint probably wasn't a Nike and wasn't a size 13 shoe. But let's get back to this, okay? Let's go ahead and get back to it. Clothing, but not limited to. We already talked about that, okay? DNA, footprints, fingerprints, fibers, animal and or human hair, or any other physical or trace evidence or items bearing these relating to or containing information indicating, suggesting, or related to violence, a fight, blah, 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 okay? 4 samples of Bryan Kohberger's DNA, which they did get that. And I'm really waiting for the trial because I can't wait to see if they're still reliant on the father's DNA. Because now they have his DNA, and I'm interested to see if his DNA and touch DNA is 100% a match for this. Wouldn't that be a motherfucker? If now that they got his real DNA, it doesn't match. I mean, granted, they would probably have already released him by now if that was the case. So I'll be honest with you. Alcohol beverages, other intoxicants, so they're just going to take, or containers or receipts for the same. So they're going to confiscate this man's drink. They're going to confiscate any receipt showing that this man had a fucking beer. It's weird shit, ain't it? Weird shit. Data compilations relating to or containing information indicating, suggesting, or related to violence, stabbing, a fight. So anything, if he has any violent video games, any violent books, they're going to take that shit, right? They're going to take all this. So anyway, to include without limitation ledgers, papers, lists, books, notes, letters, calendars, diaries. So they're looking for some sort of confession for the most part, or some sort of writings from him that is violent in nature. When, as you can see, they didn't take any, so he didn't have any, okay? Computer and communication services capable of storing electronic data, which also isn't on the list, so they didn't take any computers or electronics, okay? Alcoholic beverage, we already talked about that. All electronic devices, period, including all communications content, email, text, applications, cloud storage. So literally they're going to get every fucking thing he's ever stored, all the metadata, all the IP addresses, which more than likely they're going to get from his phone anyway. But they, as you can see by the list that we showed right here, they didn't take any of that. They didn't have any of it. This is the list of shit that they took from the house. We went over that in the very, very beginning. So they never really had anything in terms of taking the first search warrant. I don't recall them having anything, and the same thing goes with this one. Meanwhile, they're too busy shutting down Reddit channels that support Bryan Kohberger. That's right. We can't support or believe in a man that's innocent right now. We live in a country where you're innocent until proven guilty. Why can't we be pro Bryan? Now, I don't do Reddit and 40chan shit like that, but why can't we be pro Kohberger considering right now he's an innocent man? He is innocent until you prove he's guilty without a shadow of a doubt, and which you have not done. Not even in the court of public opinion, and you're not going to do it in trial with this little bit of this weak ass evidence that you have. They're trying to get all the Facebook groups shut down, so they're trying to stop the people that are sending Bryan Kohberger commissary and shit. The justice for Kohberger. Why can't people have justice for Kohberger? Why can't Bryan Kohberger have justice? You guys talk about justice all the time. You guys talk about justice for everybody. God damn. You guys talk about justice for people all the time. Why can't we have justice for Bryan Kohberger? Why can't Bryan Kohberger have titties? And why can't he have those things mailed to him? Why can't he have females? Y'all the ones that call him an incel. That right there don't look like an incel to me. Y'all are the one that slander this man's name every fucking day. You guys are the ones that do this shit. So why can't he have the same fairness that you would expect for him? Why can't he have any type of fair trial? Why can't, because let's just call it what it is. You guys want to take every fucking thing from him because you've already convicted him in your little head based on DNA, touch DNA on a knife sheath. I got some bad news for you. He's not getting convicted over that. But I know what you're going to say. JB, you don't know what they got. I'm pretty positive I know. I know what they presented. And once again, you motherfuckers that's never been through a trial, never been through a case, you believe that there's a whole lot left that they're not revealing. It's not the way affidavits work. Especially when said affidavits are 31 pages long. Every affidavit I've ever had has had pretty much 100% of what they had on me. That means the only things that are probably not on the affidavit are things that they found out since the affidavit. Well, I guess we'll give that time. You're right when you say we don't know everything. Well, no. What are people supposed to wait until after the trial, until after everything's presented to us to comment on the fucking case? That seems kind of weird. That means all your true crime channels would die, wouldn't it, dummy? Like, you don't know. Well, do you want us to just shut the fuck up until after the trial? Then what would you sit on your little fat ass and watch and type with your little chunky fingers? Trolling and shit. But if we just shut the fuck up until after the case, listen, how gay would that be? If all true crime channels just waited like 3 years after the incident. Because trust me, this Bryan Kohberger case is probably going to be another year or two. You want us to just shut the fuck up and wait 2 years to do any? You see what I'm saying? Imagine that. If just nobody covered it until it was final. See what I'm saying? Wouldn't that be kind of ridiculous? Just saying. So let's see what News Nation is over here talking about in regards to the Kohberger search warrant. Let's check it out.
Brand new details on a story News Nation has been on since the very beginning. Today, we are learning what police found when they arrested Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger. We were there on the ground.
Tell
when
us.
That search happened months ago. Brian Enton was the first on the ground in Pennsylvania near Kohberger's parents' home. Well, today, authorities unsealed the search warrant from that arrest. Let's bring in senior national correspondent Brian Enton. Brian, I know you.
By the way, sorry for the sound of my dishwasher. I'm washing dishes. Single man, got to do this shit even when I'm working.
Had a chance to pour over this document. What on this list caught your eye?
Yeah, Nicole, so we got a tip a few days ago that this would be unsealed soon. Didn't exactly know that it would happen today while we were here covering the Murdaugh trial, but very interesting that it was unsealed. Basically, this is the search warrant from when police arrested Bryan Kohberger. You remember he was at his parents' home in Pennsylvania when the arrest went down. And in the search warrant, there is a list of...
They didn't get shit. Let's just call it what it is. Let's be honest here. They didn't get shit. God, my dishwasher makes weird noises.
Items that they found on his body, and they include shoes, socks, medical-style gloves, which is something that really stood out to me.
Oh, did it?
A jacket, size 13 shoes, and then swabs, which we assume...
Here's what's so goddamn dumb about so many of y'all. Y'all are the ones that claim he's OCD just because he didn't like pans where meat was cooked in it, right? You're like, that must mean he's super weird and OCD. Okay, and then you dummies will say, well, why would he wear gloves when he's taking out the trash? Aren't you the motherfuckers that said he was super OCD? I know that, to be perfectly, now I don't wear gloves when taking out the trash, but I can understand why somebody would. If you're ever going to wear gloves like that around the house, isn't it when you take out the trash or you're dealing with trash exactly when you would wear said gloves? Isn't that accurate? Like, what else would you wear the gloves for? Maybe picking weeds. You see what I'm saying? But dealing with trash, picking weeds, that's pretty much it, right?
Swabs that were used to take his DNA. You also see their socks, shorts, boxers, basically everything that he was wearing was seized as part of that search warrant when the arrest happened. But what's interesting, Nicole, is we know that they also searched the parents' house in Pennsylvania. You'll remember when I showed up there, we could actually see that the glass was broken from when the police had busted inside. They did not reveal the list of what they took from the home in that unsealed warrant. So whether they got a cell phone or computer or anything like that, we still don't know at this point, Nicole.
Oh, he's talking about from the other. He's talking about from Kohberger's actual house. They showed you that's the list of what they got from the parents' house.
And we know, Brian, there are supposed to be, or potentially could be, more documents unsealed, right?
Yes, it's coming today.
Yeah, that's the word. And again, there's missing information from what was released today. Because in the search warrant, it clearly says that not only did they search Bryan Kohberger's body and get those items that I just read off, like his clothing, but that they also went into the parents' house. But the property list of what was removed from the parents' house has yet to be released. So perhaps that is what is still coming. We're just going to have to wait to find out.
Well, Brian, before we let you go, where does the case stand right now, and where does what was revealed in this new document and the more that may be coming impact the case?
Yeah, and there's something actually interesting I just remembered that I forgot to tell you, Nicole, about what was in the document. It also talked about the surveillance that was done on Kohberger in detail. This new document that was released today basically said that they had been following him and monitoring him coming and going from his parents' house in Pennsylvania, and also that they were tracking his cell phone at that point. So that is new information that was in the document. And it's interesting we're able to get this stuff from Pennsylvania because there's no gag order in Pennsylvania. Remember, in Idaho, there's the gag order,
right,
which is why we're not going to get much more information from Idaho until the preliminary hearing sometime in June, Nicole.
Sometime in June. All right. Brian Enton reporting in
There's
South
been
Carolina
information
on the Murdaugh
leaking
case,
all over the place.
switching gears and give.
There's been information leaking all over the place. Now let's listen to old Banfield, see what she's got to say about it, because she's basically going to talk to this motherfucker about the same damn thing. Come on, Banfield.
Documents, every little piece of it.
There you go.
National correspondent Bryan Enton has been digging through the warrant, the documents, every little piece of it to see how much we know and how much we don't. He's standing by live. So, Brian, I suppose I'm not surprised by this list. It looks like they kind of just took whatever he was wearing off of him.
Exactly.
And that's the list we got.
A lot of you guys wondered about the green thing. That remember when you guys were why is he wearing the green thing? You guys thought he was in Suicide Watch and shit like that. You got to remember, they took all those fucking clothes off. And they might have done it right there at the house. That's why all they have is just that little amount. So it is possible that they did strip. More than likely, I would think that they took, they arrested him first. You know what I'm saying? Took him down to the station and made him change. But anything's possible, right? Anything's possible.
But this other business about searching for the electronic devices, etc., we don't know if they got them, do we?
Well, how wouldn't we know?
No, we don't. I'm going to get to that, but I just want to go back to the medical-style gloves that they found on him. That's one of the items there, Ashley. That certainly
No, I don't think you people understand what that is. That's a receipt for property. This happens when you get arrested. His cell phone and things like that should be in there. Why in the fuck isn't his cell phone in his receipt for property? By the way, it was the FBI who conducted this raid, or this
Absolutely, but you're right. When we
raid,
were
so to
tipped
speak.
off that these search warrants were going to be unsealed, we were waiting, finally got them today. The first thing I thought was, well, where's all the rest of the stuff? Well, there's an explanation.
Tell
This
us.
is only the property list from the items seized off of Kohberger himself. So his clothing, likely those gloves were maybe in a pocket, his shoes, his boxers, his shirt, all of that stuff. We still don't have the property list of the other search warrants.
Bullshit. So you're saying that Bryan Kohberger on his body had a gray flashlight? Come on, man. Come on.
That would be for the house itself. And you'll remember when I was out there, Ashley, I saw that all the windows were broken and were duct taped. The police went into the house. We still don't have the items that they brought out of the house, maybe a cell phone, maybe a computer. Don't have that list. We also don't have the list of what they got from inside Kohberger's car, which of course is very important because that's the car the police allege was at the murder scene. Those are some of the documents we're hoping will be unsealed possibly tomorrow or the next day.
We'll see.
I remember we're looking at the pictures that you shot. You were the only person out there, Bryan, and you saw that front door of Bryan Kohberger's parents, and they had duct taped it over as though, you know, clearly the cops that went in for the raid had to go in with some force. So you got these pictures of what it looked like just moments afterwards. And I remember, Bryan, didn't you say something like you could hear them whispering on the other side of that glass door? Do you explain what it was like when you were there?
Yeah, I remember hearing his dad's voice, who I thought was his dad's voice on the other side. And it almost looked like blinds there, what you were showing, but that was actually duct tape because the window was broken out during the police raid. And I could hear them whispering inside. Obviously, you know, they had really been through something that day, but we know that items were taken from the home, and that's why I'm so interested to see what happens tomorrow when we think the additional documents will be unsealed.
Okay, so that's the other thing.
When these documents are released today, I will definitely immediately make a video on it. I won't make you guys wait till tomorrow this time. When they release the documents today, if it's today, I will immediately report on it. I don't think they've. Let me see. I don't think there's been any. I don't think there's been any release to them at the moment. Let me take a look here. Let me just see real quick. I definitely don't think there's been any documents at all released in terms of now. I don't think there's any new documents, should I say. Let me take a look real quick. Usually it would be all over the place. We will see. Hopefully, we will see if there's any more. Transcript of the court hearing. Yeah, we're going to talk about the secret court hearing with Ann Taylor in a little bit. We'll be talking about that in the next video. But I don't see anything here. I don't see any new documents, anything like that. Anybody talking about them. So I guess we'll see what happens. Final Kohberger warrants out of PA will be available tomorrow morning. That is today, this morning. I apologize for the delay. Amanda Eustace says the seal was for 60 days, and that 60 days is to expire at the end of today. So these documents will be out this morning. So with that being the case, when I see said documents, I will gladly show you said documents. Let's get back to old Banfield here.
They had a warrant for the residence, right? The home that we're looking at right now. They had a warrant for the garage because that's considered separate. They had a warrant for his car. And even though it's all on the same property, they get these warrants separately. So do we expect that we're going to find out tomorrow when hopefully they unseal tomorrow, everything from the residence, everything from the garage, and everything from his vehicle?
I mean, that's definitely possible.
We think so. I mean, of course, there's no telling exactly what will happen, but based on the rules in Pennsylvania, they have 60 days to unseal the warrants. The warrant that was unsealed today hit the 60-day expiration date. The others will hit the expiration date tomorrow, officially from when they were signed off on. That's why we think tomorrow could be another big day in terms of getting some new information.
That's cool.
What was the significance of the time of day that?
So I will say this, is that for all you anti-Kohberger people, you may get your home run tomorrow. Like tomorrow, we may see something that completely, or today, that's today, may completely change my mind. You know, obviously, it would depend on what Kohberger has in his car. But I'm just going to be perfectly honest with you. Think about this. He drove all the way across the country. You honestly think he's going to have anything in that house, in that car, in that garage? Be honest with yourself. Do you really believe this man would kill 4 people and then carry anything from that even is remotely connected to said murder all the way across the country? Am I the only one here that thinks that's fucking stupid as shit? I don't see him doing it.
Requested that this warrant be executed.
Okay, so this was interesting, and I read through the whole thing. Of course, that property list was the main thing, but there were some other nuggets buried in several pages there. They asked the judge to sign off on the warrant in the afternoon. So it was daytime in the afternoon. The judge signed off. What I picked up on was that they didn't actually go and serve the search warrant and bust into the house and arrest Kohberger until around 1 in the morning. Why did they wait all that time? We don't know for sure. It would make sense, though. I mean, he's wanted for these brutal murders, perhaps the element of surprise. You can see how dark out there in that neighborhood it was. Each house was on about 1 acre or 2 acres, kind of a rural area. Perhaps they wanted to wait until the middle of the night to sort of surprise him and hope that he didn't see them coming.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com.
You pretty much see what's going on. And of course, they had other videos. What the FBI took, which is the dark clothes, sneakers, DNA swab. I will tell you this. I think the best thing they got from the search is the DNA swab, which they needed anyway, right? Now, when it comes to let's go to the actual search warrant. Let me show you guys this. Let me pull this up here. Let me pull it up here, and then I'll switch this over. Yeah, there we go. There we go. There's really nothing here. That was the video. I should have. All right, give me a second. All right, here we go. There's really nothing here. If you take a look at this entire thing, there's just nothing. It does have the date, the time, all of that. Everything we've already looked at. This is FBI, by the way. Shows the date. There's really nothing else here. The thing that I've read to you already. What they took. Like, there's really nothing here. But then if you go to the end of it, oh yeah, it says right here, all vehicles in which Kohberger has access to, including to, but not and limited to, the white Hyundai Elantra, right? But for the most part, it's everything you would expect in this type of situation. So there is an affidavit of probable cause that was right here. Let's go and take a look. It says, your affidavit is Trooper Justin M. Leary of the Pennsylvania State Police, blah, blah, blah. He says, as a trooper with Pennsylvania State Police, throughout my career, I've conducted hundreds of criminal investigations, including numerous homicide investigations. So he's basically giving his credentials, all that shit. On Wednesday, the 28th, 2022, the Pennsylvania State Police was requested to assist the Moscow Police Department and FBI with a homicide investigation which occurred on November 13th. As part of this investigation, we reviewed reports and affidavits prepared by the Moscow Police Department, establishing probable cause for issuance of search warrants related to this investigation, which are included in this affidavit of probable cause as Exhibit A. Furthermore, so basically what that was that affidavit, the arrest affidavit that we already previously covered, right? Furthermore, investigators began physical surveillance of the property in the early morning hours of Tuesday, December 27th. We observed Bryan Kohberger walking near this residence. Additionally, Kohberger's vehicle was observed entering the Indian Mountain Lakes development on December 16, 2022. and the vehicle is still believed to be on the premises. Investigators are also monitoring Kohberger's cell phone, which appears to be in the same vicinity as the residence. On Wednesday, the 28th, while conducting surveillance, investigators observed Kohberger traveling throughout Monroe County and arriving back at his residence on whatever. Based on this, they believe that Kohberger is located inside the residence and in possession of items related to this investigation. They're requesting a search warrant be issued for the search and seizure of all items listed in the items to be searched, along with forensic processing of all items. They're requesting digital devices seized be forensically examined in a controlled environment at some future date, and until such examinations are complete. Additionally, based upon serious and violent nature of these crimes, including risk of general public safety, they're requesting a nighttime search warrant be issued to execute the search warrant at any time, and the affidavit of probable cause be sealed. They wanted it sealed. So then we got the arrest affidavit, which we've already went over all of this. But I saw something at the end that was interesting that I don't remember being part of the initial affidavit. Let me scroll down here a little bit. Let me scroll on down here a little bit. I don't recall. There was all of this information, this one right here. They go into talking about Apple devices and Windows, basically the phone stuff. They're basically talking about how to unlock the phone, if that makes sense. They talk about who's in the residence. Based off the above information, I am seeking a search warrant for Kohberger's person and his parents' residence located blah, blah, blah. The home is a single-family, two-story residence, white in color. There's a two-car garage located on the west side of the residence. This is the location Kohberger is currently believed to be at based off cell phone data received in previous warrants. Based off information gathered during the investigation, it is believed Kohberger's mother, Mary Ann Kohberger, father, Michael Kohberger, and sister, Amanda Kohberger, currently reside in the residence. In addition, I'm seeking a warrant for all outbuildings and sheds located on the property. It is also believed that Kohberger's his Elantra is stored in the two-car garage on the west side of the residence. Based on the above facts, I'm requesting a search warrant for that Elantra, bearing the VIN number, blah, blah, blah. And so basically that's all it was. And then he goes on to speak a little bit about biometrics and getting into phones. And so he's requesting that they have the ability to use his biometrics to get in the phone, to kind of force him to get into the phone. Look, this whole video is basically for nothing because they didn't find anything. Now, we may find out today, later on, that they got a whole bunch more. But if you clearly look at all this shit, bro, there's nothing that they've got. All they have in this whole investigation so far that says anything is the touch DNA on the knife sheath. That's it. And I'm going to be honest with you, that doesn't even put him at the crime. That just puts something that he's touched at the crime. A good defense attorney will beat this case easily. There's a lot of you guys that believe this is a home run for the prosecution. I've asked you how. In fact, this Saturday I'm going to do a live stream, and if you'd like to debate me on the subject, I'd love for you to tell me how Bryan Kohberger is guilty. What evidence have you seen that means he should be put to death? Because remember, this is a situation in which you beyond a reasonable doubt believe he is guilty and should be put to death, because that's what you're saying. You believe this man is guilty in a death penalty case. Out of your mouth that you're saying right now is the words Bryan Kohberger should be dead. Don't you think we should have a little bit more information, a little bit more evidence before we say Bryan Kohberger should be dead? We live in America, man. We can't just go off killing people on a hunch. Or because you think, well, it's likely Kohberger did it. You can't kill people because of that. See what I'm saying? Let me know in the comments section what you think. Let me know if you guys want to, if you are one of those people that want to step up to the plate Saturday and debate me. Because we can be civil. We can do everything civilly. My position is simple. I don't know whether Kohberger did it or not. What I do know is currently the evidence does not show that. And if I was on that jury, I would vote not guilty. See what I'm saying? What about you? Guys, what do you think of this affidavit? There's just really nothing here. I don't see him as got anything. Maybe the one that'll come later will be a little bit different. Your next video will be coming up here shortly. We'll be talking about Ann Taylor and how we were right about that. Just call it what it is. If you like what I do here and you find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below. Support the channel. Sorry for missing yesterday. This was the video I was going to do yesterday. So here you go now. And we'll get you another one out there. Sorry this one was so long, but, you know, it is what it is. Fuck it. Love you guys. I'm JB Gunner. It's Crime Time. I'm out.